So, Tlos, should you come here? Absolutely you should. This is an incredible place. About an hour and a half from Kash, hour and a half from Kibra. At the theater, and this is temporarily closed. They're definitely doing some remodeling. And look at the machinery they're using for this. They didn't have this kind of stuff when it was built. They had different, very different techniques. But you can see this is definitely a work in progress. But this looks really nice right here. So, and the seats look pretty good. And there's all those stones over there. And that's where we're gonna go, way across here and across the valley. So let's go explore. Just gotta show you a little 4x4 here. That is literally 4 feet by 4 feet. But it's actually a pretty good little vehicle for the Turkish roads. It's it's Russian, but it's definitely efficient. So we're gonna go explore this building. But again, look at all these stones that they're going to put back into the theater. This is quite a bit of work. And again, here's the theater. A lot of work. It looks like they're pulling cement up with a bucket. Yeah, I see cement way back over here. So they're doing this work in Citadel. I know that's a 5-year project. Oh, I see them way in the back too. So there's probably way more in the back. All right, so here we are across from the theater. This is looking a little sketchy how to get in here. There's no clear paths. We saw some fence that had no entry. The main feature for Tlos is up this way, so we want to get there. I got a feeling we can get in here past the little dumpster. We found a path, or at least it looks like one. So usually if you find a flattened area, it's pretty good. Well, no entrance, see? It's at least in English. Looks like this is somewhat modern work. That could possibly be an original wall. Usually they wouldn't just take the work to do that based on those little holes. This is rather interesting here. But with the amount of fresh gravel, this means they are doing work in bits and pieces, probably depending on season, the availability of workers. We probably are the only people up here, which is always exciting. We're the only ones. Some people would be terrified of that, but we're used to this. It feels very safe here. So this is the city Basilica. That would have been my guess without even seeing the sign based on what we've seen. This area is fairly big. There's a lot of grass, but there's some decent areas here. So let's go check this out some more. This is the Cronus Temple here. We can't get back in here. But you can see by the steps, this is original. There would have been a bit more column there. Let's see what you'd see around the corner here. And this is all up by the theater if you're coming up here. If not, just enjoy the video. Very pretty stone. Oh, look at this. That looks like some original art. So there was definitely a covering over this, some kind of patina that they used. It's so rare to find original colors on the stone, and the sun is to my back. It's in the morning at, I think, about 11:30. I haven't looked at my watch. Time is irrelevant when you're here. You just come and enjoy. Some people just walk the main paths and go home. Others like to explore off the beaten path like we do. So we're gonna take some more paths here and go check this out. This was obviously monstrous buildings just by what's still here. So let's get down into here and see what it's like. So we want to get down there, and we may have to go back up and around or crawl down through here. But I also see a path. Let me go scout this out real quick, and let's see if there's another way down and around. I don't think there is. I think we're gonna have to go down that path or go back out and about, because I got a feeling this is a drop off. All right, so we decided we're gonna go the safe way. This is the safe way, or somewhat. Yeah, watch your footing. I'm wearing oboes, hiking boots, and these are definitely worth getting if you're coming up here. You wear tennis shoes or high heels. We saw somebody with heels on yesterday going somewhere. It was just crazy. So this is the back side of the temple, Cronus. Very intriguing. There's still so much work to do here. There's all these bushes, and of course you can't go in because it's usually unsafe, or because people will pick away at the ruins, so you don't want to do that. So this is a great bath, and of course no entry, unless there's a hole through the fence over here. Usually they don't want you going into areas for a couple reasons. One is it could be dangerous, because if you walked off that would hurt. But when I see path, that means we can go in. Oh, no, we can't. It's a fence. Yeah, they do not want you inside here. And it could be for a lot of reasons. This has been up here for a little bit and has not moved. But this is the Great Bath. And there's probably some rather interesting stuff as usual in here. But look at this. This went up high. There's most likely ceilings on here. This could have been arched ceiling. Because there's no rubble down below, my thought is that they've already cleaned this up and they're just waiting for future work. Here we can see, I believe this is the Phthia Valley. Look at the artwork. Let's go that way. If you would have chosen the hard way, you would have come down there. Definitely not worth your time going through there. If you look down on the ground, this looks quartzy. There's probably some unique rock throughout the area. A lot of limestone. All right, let's make our way.
Wish it would not be. You know, wish it would be.
Tlos is very different. We were just in Kibera, and again, very different compared to Side. I mean, it's a different region, but it's still relatively close. The one commonality they had was Caesar, or not Caesar, Alexander the Great. Look at this. They're massive. Oh, I see a hole. Let's go see if we can see in the hole. Let's see what's inside. Let's see what we got. What's in here? Oh, you see the basin? Cool. Nice little hole. Let's see what else we got. Alright, here's another hole. Oh, I can feel a draft coming through it from the wind. That's cool. Can't see much through there. It's more than a meter. I can't reach that far. Or we'd be able to see inside if I had my long stick. Oh, that hole's even wider. Let's see what we got here. More fence. Let's see if we can see in here. Definitely loose stones under the grass. Where's that basin at? I can't see it. Very interesting. You can see there's ruins way down. So this art is a bit different. Similarities, but different. And it's upside down, but we can see, let's see if I do this without my finger blurring it, right in here. This is different. So this would have been the top and then the bottom. You see the eggs. And there are some similarities there. All right, let's go over here and look at this. Here's some more unique artwork. Get my shadow out of the way. This is, I believe I'm standing on the upside down piece here. I don't know why they put them upside down. I think it's so we can see all the carvings. And how do I know it's upside down? Because this is usually what we look up at when it's sitting across columns, which are in here. And all this stuff is just piled up, waiting eventually for restoration. And even on Google Earth, you can see there's just so much of this stuff just lined up. It looks like they didn't finish. This is usually in between, I call it the beading here. Usually they go around it, but that, it's either so well weather worn or it just wasn't finished. I think this is still original. I don't think this was rebuilt. Usually when they rebuild, they put cement and pointing in, but this is not. And then all these holes, there might have been a facade on this. I think they used that to prevent it from sliding off. I'd have to check with a historian. What do you think? Leave a comment below if you think these little holes, either they had placards in them or they used it to help hold the plaster, because this is rough. It's not even weather worn. Oh, beautiful arches. Ooh, that looks sketchy. This is a very unique building. Very, very unique. Huh. Well, let's keep following the path this way. All right, so they've got these square cut holes. Those aren't big enough for pigeons. Unless they did it differently here. There's something. They're too regular. Maybe they had shelves. They weren't for climbing. They're just too perfectly regular. You know, what do you think they were for? Your guess is as good as mine. Don't use your modern brain. Go back 2,000 years and think, what did they do with this stuff? It's too close to make floors, but it could have been shelves, maybe a foot or two out, a meter out, but then there's none on that wall. But I do see some patterning. You see it, this line? There's something there. Again, that could have been a root that was growing up there and just wrecked the cement. All right, I now know how we're gonna get over there. We have to cross that valley. That'll be fun. All right, let's go explore more. Here, let's come through here. So, this looks like this was broken through. Something collapsed, and the path just happened to go through it. You can see inside the wall, and that was pointed up. Just really sketchy. Why is this? Tanya thought it was like a sliding door, but there's no way. That was not a door. Huh. This would have been a big open area. I do believe we're going that way. Is there a building in here? Fountain? Just a gap area? Usually in these cities, they were very well planned out. It's very hard to tell with the bushes and the grass. Let's walk down here.
And see, it was steps.
Yeah, we'll get over there and look at that in a bit. That's that's crazy. That might be the arena, though. I'm not sure. I have to look at my map. And here we have archway. But this, I'm standing on stone, and it goes that way. This might have been an agora of some sort, but I'm seeing no column bases, no columns. That doesn't mean it wasn't here. There's some on the other side. So it could have been a smaller agora or an agora. But it doesn't make sense. Well, if it's by the bath. That's the fun thing about history. Your guess is as good as anybody else's. And again, imagine this is 2, possibly 3 meters lower. These probably were doorways. And it looks like there's a platform on the other side. This wall was probably higher. Although it looks like there's a gutter. It looks, I don't know if I can get up high enough. It looks concave in there, so that could have been used for water. Which means there could have been roof over this. Slanting higher than my head where I'm at here. There's my shadow. And sloping down and going naturally down into the little valley there. Wow, that just is intriguing over there. I do see a lot of fence. Hopefully we can get up there. We may have to get in the car and drive back around and go down to the entryway. But we're going to explore the end of this. So here we are at the end of this. I think it's an agora. There's just remnants here. This looks like it was piled up recently. It does not look original, but you never know. I doubt it. It's not evenly spaced. And I'm thinking we're not going down there. So we are going to go back down by the great bathhouse. There's an arch we saw coming in. And then we'll see if we can cross over the valley. Because we want to get to over there. All right, so we're taking this path. Let's see. Oh, what's what here? Oh, I don't know. This is not looking promising here. I don't see how you go. I'm not walking on that wall. That would be not wise. This, yeah, let's try this way. The ribbons are, we didn't cut the ribbon. It's already cut. So let's see what we got here. We gotta always watch our footing. Make sure. Wow. Yeah, see, these arches, they're a bit deeper. They've just been filled up with rubble. Definitely. That's most likely from a wall that fell. There could be buildings that were in here. Most likely buildings. Oh, and I see a path. Perfect. Just don't go to your left. Be careful on a wall. And these are not prickers. Yay. Yeah, this was, I got a feeling this was Agora. This, it just, you can see how this probably went down much further. And then, why do they always build such big arches? Just to be impressive? There are ribbons everywhere. It seems like they don't want you here, but again, maybe we're allowed, but as I said, there's nobody else here. Oh, look at this. Wow. Oh, I see some interesting sketches. All right, let's get down into here. Let's see what we can see. All right, so this pattern, you can kind of make it out. We've seen this in many places. It's like a star. It's very faint here, but you can make it out. That was definitely carved in. And this, you can see here, was all underground, all under dirt. Obviously no entry. You can see how high this is. That's easily a meter tall. And the wall would have fallen. So let's see what else we can see on the floor here. See, here we have, definitely they're protecting it. It looks like steps. It could be an altar. I don't think it's a sarcophagus. I saw some across the way there. Pretty sure they didn't have it. Oh, here's a cool view. Arches, look at the depth of that dirt. That is easily 2 meters. We're allowed up here a little bit, so let's check this out. They got supporting in here. You just never lean and touch on stuff. Rule number 1 of ancient ruins, always check your awareness. See, and you get a little bump, that thing comes down, you're squished. Like a jelly-filled pancake. Look at the sedentary. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 layers that I count just there. Wow. And the stuff they found. Looks like something was rubbing off here. Gently, never ever touch. Looks like an old piping running under. Wow, this would have been archway. I'm inside a storage room. So the pipe, okay, this is original piping too. That is not modern. It would have gone somewhere that way. This is a rather big area. This foundation looks original. Again, very unique and very different. I've not seen this style of base. You could see the dirt. What was exposed, what wasn't. This is a very expansive area. This looks like a storage room. And then they got bricks here. What for? Maybe it was a step in, because obviously it's a door. But this is open. You just gotta use your imagination. Something is covered in there. Possibly original mosaic. They definitely closed up that opening. These archways are impressive. They don't want you over here for a reason. What is the reason? Something there. Don't know what that is or was. And there might have been more of the brick, and it was, who knows, a fountain. You just don't know. It's so cool. This actually could have been an agora. Actually, you know what? Because I'm looking at these column foundations, and agoras usually were surrounded by columns. Pretty much everywhere we've seen an agora, that's what it is. All right, so here's where they stopped digging, modern digging, and it's just all fill. Wow, a lot of columns. And then this is all the modern pilings. On Google Maps, we can see what this looks like from an aerial view. Cannot fly drone. Although I didn't see a no-fly drone, I probably could fly my Hover Air X1 and get away with it. But I want to be careful. I haven't seen too many security cameras. Like none, actually. But still, I've got to be careful. There's no one around. I probably could fly it. But I think we'll just go with the cell phone for now. There's some interesting stuff. Possibly a lion. That way, that one on the bottom is the right way up. This one's upside down. You can just see remnants, pieces, parts, columns. There's nothing unique about the rock here. I think it's basically just limestone and just basic. I'm not seeing granite. There's just very little. I think they used their natural things. Oh, look at this. Very interesting. Again, upside down. And with a hole. Again, I'm not sticking my finger through there, but I don't think that was a gutter, because this one's full natural, the rock. Wow. It's a very big area. Very big area. That might have been, my guess is a fountain or water. And there was just water inside. It looks, I think it was filled with water. I see rock on the bottom. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that was man-made lagoon, a lake. Okay, those look like seats. I wonder if that was the arena. Let's go find out. Roosters are up a little bit late. So now our goal, we got through this field. We're supposedly in an arena area. And those are seats. There's no other seating behind me, so it was just one-sided, and then this huge open area. And I don't think they tore down the walls. There would be something left here. And we don't know how we're gonna get up here. There's, they obviously did some digging here. This is just such a unique location. These seats have seen better days. I don't know how we're getting up here other than climbing, but let's go down to the end. We saw some guys walking down that way. Oh, she found the stairs. And then where are you gonna go? Oh, watch. Tanya's leading the way. Check that footing. Good? What do you see? Flat? Okay. She found it. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get up there. I got a feeling there's a sign down there I see. So I'm going to make my way up there. And then you can see the mountains out here too. Amazing. Again, this is late November. And it's very comfortable. I would say high 60s. I have no jacket on. But it's very, very nice with the sun. All right, let's make our way up here. All right, so it doesn't look like we can make it through, but I do see a road, so we're gonna have to go up and around. Wow, you'd see the theater. Great bathhouse. And just a lot of scrub brush. Let's peek into the door. Here, I'm coming over this way. Let's see what we're not allowed to go into. Oh, yeah. That looks pretty unstable. That's why they don't want you in there. All right, so we're gonna walk down the wall here and just poke her. Well, we're gonna poke what we can through to see what's here. This is a lot of work, very dangerous, obviously. Would not want to go near that. Looks like they've done some work in here. Rocks usually don't last that long like that. Let's see. Where we're going, we don't need roads. We don't need prickers. I don't see any prickers, which is so nice. Surprised I haven't seen a tortoise yet. I'm gonna stop here because there's nothing that way. Except just what an incredible view. Wow. Very, very different from all the ruin sites we've been to so far. You can tell they reused the columns, which is fairly common, quite a bit. All right, so here, check this out. Look at this cut, up and around. It's interlocking. And there's probably more, but how long did that take to do? With what kind of tools? And look at this. This looks like that was buried. Why and what was up here? What's missing that we don't see? That all looks like it was pointed back up here, all the way through here. But you can see the dirt line, and then they have the archway. So there might have been, this might be an old enclosure that was underground, and then they just went in over it. All right, so one thing I didn't even realize. Look at the size of these, all right? These are 5 feet by 5 feet-ish. These are huge. These are not tiny little rocks. And I didn't even realize that they're down here and then down this way. They keep going. Notice they do get smaller, but they're huge rocks. It's amazing. Again, there's so many details. You always have to look around and look at the small things, not just the big things. All right, let's keep going this way. So we're trying to figure out how thick these were. Here's a crack, and it's only about a foot. They're like slabs. They're not giant, heavy rocks. You can see the fill, but still, that's impressive. And again, limestone, I believe, so pretty impressive. All right, picked up a spider on my cell phone. Oh, geez, probably get critters crawling up our legs. All right, so that was a nice little surprise. Hopefully he's not going up inside my rig. But look at the columns here. They're just inserted. We've seen this in so many places where it's just bits and pieces. So is it modern? Was it Christianity? Byzantine? Because look, the bricks, that's usually a sign Byzantine, which means after the Romans. So they might have taken the fallen columns and just used them. All right, again, let's see what we can do to get down here. All right, so Tanya found an area down to the stadium. So from a distance, these do look like steps, but they're seats. They're just well eroded. You can see with the undercutting. I'm sitting down and my legs are very comfortable. So doesn't look like a big stadium till you look out and about. That's a football pitch. That's big. And that mound down there, maybe more seats. Hard to tell. The champion area, maybe the magistrates, the head guys were here. All right, so we're gonna head out that road and head down and go from there. So to give you an idea of the seating, and again, this just definitely has eroded over time. This is unlike the marble stadiums. This has taken brutal damage with weather. And there's snail shells everywhere. That tells me there's underground springs probably through here. Move some of the bushes out of the way. There's some steps there. Ah, this is where we came in. Right here. A few thousand people would have fit here. So you can see the snail shells. Some are pretty big, actually. Those, all right, that's unique. And there's no water nearby, but those could be there quite a bit. I mean, there's just everywhere. There's some really big ones, maybe 2 inches across we saw. But that means there's water, always water. Probably underground cisterns. And they're just somewhere nearby. Came this way. Oh. So here we see the ribbon design, and again, these are upside down, so you would have been looking up at that, and I'm thinking this area was the champions area, or where the important people sat. You can see more ribbon, or I'm calling them ribbons. To me, they look like ribbon, but that's my modern brain. These are old 2,000-year-old brain, and they mean something completely different. And those are, I believe, granite. Most everything here is limestone. Okay, so we made it out. We kind of made our own exit. The fence was kind of low. We didn't climb over it. We stepped over it. So we should be okay. And again, we came up. Oh, here's a ticket gate right there. So this is the lower parking lot. All right, So the last place we're gonna go, if we can, is to over there, to the rock wall tombs. Now we're gonna go up to the Acropolis and the fortress. And this is right from the ticket booth behind me. And by the way, to get in off season was 300 lira for 2 people. So it may probably be a little more expensive, but it's very cheap for what you're seeing and doing. That is unbelievably cheap. Based on the shiny rocks, you know, people have been here by the thousands. So we're gonna go up. Now we're on the correct side of the fence. I got a feeling where we were, you're not really supposed to be there, because it does say no entrance. But we came in from over that way. So we might have been where we weren't supposed to be. But guess what? You now have exclusive video from a no-go zone. Shh. Up the path we go. Midday roosters. And we haven't even been here an hour and a half yet. So here's the stadium area. Oh, I was right. They called that water. And there was roofing. It was my guess. It was right. So you may say, where do we go from here? Well, there's a step. Let's go up. Up is always good in Turkey. Usually when you go up, you're going to get this somewhere interesting. But going up means coming down. And you definitely want to watch your footing. Like that. Oh, okay. It's a lot of up. But it will be worth it. Here, wait. Okay, so we're up. The rooster's still going at it. It's a midday rooster. The guy on the bike is the entrance right there. And the land is just sloped. It just feels like it's just turned on its edge. And those are mountains way out there. Incredible. Absolutely amazing. And that is probably an archaeological shed. And we're gonna figure out which way to go. I got a feeling we go around the sarcophagi here. All right, this is not just a shed. This is a tomb. And I do believe we're allowed in here. Let's see what we got here. Oh, it's just a small room. Let's come down in here. Be very respectful. It's just here. There's a lot of dirt. I'm gonna guess it goes down a little bit. It looks like they've been digging it out. This is very impressive stuff. Let's see what else is this way. Another tomb, yeah. And I got a feeling these were broken into. We're not gonna get down in here, but I'm just gonna look. It's got a little shelf in it. But you can see somebody broke that panel. When they made these, they were definitely pre-thinking, way ahead of their demises, knowing that they would have a place like that. Wow. So many people decided to build pretty high up. There's caves, just etchings into the rock. And then the tomb. How did they get them in there? You know, we don't know how much dirt has been taken away over time. I don't see much falling down that way. I hear water. I think there's water over that way. So this is the tomb area. Let's go investigate these. So here we have the tombs. They took care of their folks. This looks like it was just etched in. And there's most likely a panel that broke off. And there's shelves in here, so they would have put maybe the bodies up there. Oh, people throwing their garbage. I hate that. Don't throw garbage. I broke through here. Looks like maybe husband and wife, family. Got a feeling there's something missing from here. Let's go up. This is up above where he just was. They're all similar. And you can see this wasn't very thick. And they would have broken through. It's probably remnants. I think there was a fire in here. I don't doubt it. Could be homeless people over the centuries lived in there. It's decent shelter. Just kick out the current inhabitant. You got a nice little warm place. This looks like storage. Modern day storage. That was not there. Let's see. This was probably a foundation through here. And they might have put sacrificial stuff in. It's really elaborate stuff. Who knows if these are natural caverns and they built into it or just etched into everything. This one's fairly big. Just hanging on. And how did they got them way up high? It's a good 20 feet, 30 feet up. So they used ladders. Let's see, they just everybody on the grave robbers. I haven't seen any art inside. Oh, hornet nest. Ooh, those like nasty hornets. I guess if you wanted to go visit the upper areas, you just go up this path. We're gonna skip that. Been here, done that. This looks Byzantine. Remember, you see the brickwork in. And then, the real fun part, turn around. Theater, bath. Gives you a really good look at the stadium area. So this is a bit of a steep incline incline here. It looks like we're going to just step off the edge of nowhere. But let's find out, because somehow people got up here. Oh, it's not so bad. It just looks bad. Definitely don't go too far left. And this is all recently rebuilt, reinforced. I'm getting a feeling like this is, what does this feel like to you? Oh, Greek? Mm-hmm. It looks different, doesn't it? Somebody's personal handwriting. It looks different. There's more swirl. What looks like the headphones? Or skull, maybe. If you could interpret that, leave that in a comment. Pretty neat. All right, up we go. Yeah, this is reminding me of Ephesus, how they had the fort. Ottoman, yeah. Yeah, most likely Ottoman. It's very high grounds. They had the platform here. There's no way anybody could sneak up on them coming from that way. And this could have been all forest back in the day. But cooking fires, they would have seen them from miles. This just goes on and on and on. You can see where we're at above the other ruins. Again, if you're coming up here, really watch your footing. Depending when, again, late November, the grass is not as aggressive as it probably is in the summer. It's pretty warm up here too. There's no shade. So make sure you wear a hat. If you need to, sunscreen, long sleeves, but polo shirt looks good for me. Pretty cool stuff. That looks like one solid rock. Yeah, this is Ottoman. You can see this is one huge rock. I think those are, I don't know what they were. They look like pigeonholes from afar, but I think they were wall remnants, maybe great beams, barriers. And you gotta forget your modern brain and use your ancient brain to think of what it was like to defend this. And this would have been a dead end, I think. I don't know if we can get through here. Oh, there's stairs, believe it or not. These count as stairs. And what do we got? Oh, you can get up here. Don't know how much there is to see, but whenever there's gravel, people have been here. Oh, a view. Wow. Here is a view. Oh, if you're afraid of heights, be careful. It's a bit of a ways down. I would imagine this was parade ground, but I don't think they paraded like we do now. Pretty amazing. Oh, steps. This is like a video game. Stairs. We're gonna go capture the flag. This. If you're afraid of heights, don't come up here, because to the left and right, there's nothing. So if you look straight forward, you'll be okay. Just look down, but don't look left or right. It does get a little narrow here, about 1 meter wide, and then there's nothing. Oh, all right. Yeah, you want to be careful if you're afraid of heights, because it's a big ways down. Yeah, don't come up. It'll scare you. You can watch the video. So, oh look, private garden. And we have the Turkish flag. We'll come back through that way. Somebody's been up here smoking, of course. This was expansive. This does remind me of Ephesus. which would have been the Ottoman Empire, the way they did things. That would have been Barracks. That looks like remnants of a chimney. Maybe is there a kitchen? I could go up higher, but I'm happy here. This is good enough. The hard part about coming up is you gotta go down. If it's wet, absolutely no way. I'd just stay here till it dries again. But it's worth the view. Just, I could spend hours up here. Let's pull out some water, snack, set up a sun umbrella, and just camp. All right, so I'm down. We're both down safe. This looks like it was all placed here, modern. I don't know how far we're gonna get. I see path up ahead. It's a big wide open area. I think the other way might be easier, but let's see. Yeah, watch your footing because there's nothing stable. Oh, here's 2 meters of stableness. Oh, you just gotta imagine these are up much higher. Quick, I'm just gonna go right to the edge here. You can see me. All right, so you can spend some time here. Yeah, if you're feeling tired, probably a good idea to turn back. There, oh, this is a dead end. So, well, not really a dead end. Let's cross through here. Yeah, there's a path. Oh, this is huge down there. Oh, it just keeps, oh wait, that's the tomb area, no? Or another area. And there's path, just wait. And then the kitchen area. Okay, so we came around to the right of the Acropolis and we found a much easier path, kind of, coming up to what I called maybe a kitchen area. And you'll see why in just a sec as I get up here. This is Ottoman, Byzantine. Oh, totally different look. See the flag up here? That's where we were. Oh, I was. And then in here is, that looks like an old chimney. So this, so I'm calling this a kitchen or a mess hall because the troops would have been somewhere, maybe they even slept in here. But this is the flat area in the back. So here's some cool areas. It looks like this is just solid limestone and they built into it. It's just natural. They just made something of it. Yeah, go around. And then, I don't know if I can get down. I think I took the high road. Tanya took the low road. There's other people coming up. Well, there's some cool wildlife here. If you like lizards, which I do, they're all over the place. So let's see if we could zoom in on a lizard. Where is he? They're really hard to spot unless they move. He is right there. Oh, there he is. He's right in the center. And I saw another big guy coming right there. You should be able to see him by the door. Cool stuff. But what's even more cool is that. Well, that's about it for here. I think we explored what we can explore. Oh. Yeah, we came from this way. So there's some unique sarcophagi. I know there's a channel, Prototype Civilization. He's got a huge channel. Amazing adventures he does. And then he was at a place that had so many of those. I don't know where it was. We may end up there accidentally. But I believe our next stop is Xanthos, Latun, Pantara, Kash. So let's keep working our way out of here. One last thing. So one last thing to do. I want to leave a little memento out of respect. So let's put the rock in here. Because this is where people lay to rest. And then, well, that's it for here. Thanks for watching Tlos. Make sure you go to the next adventure with us on Past, Present, Future. See you soon.